Okay, this whole not saying the P word thing has gone on for long enough. We're 10 games away from the end of the season, and we are actually in the promotion hunt. Hello and welcome to part 37 of Backing the Boro. I'm Kev, and coming up on today's episode, we're away against Lincoln, at home against Whitehawk, both in the Conference National, which is going really rather well. Since you were last with us, we've not lost a game, I don't think. Was Boston in the last episode? Actually, we lost one game. I think Boston might have been the first one after the last episode. But we've been in good form since then, and so has a certain Mr. Sedwin Scott, who not only got 4 goals in our last episode, he's scored in every game we've played since then. He is in quite remarkable form. He's doing all right. We've changed him to being a target man on attack with Danny Philliskirk supporting. Seems to have made a bit of a difference. We've turned him into a goal scorer. Now on 24 goals from 36 appearances. Still with his 12 assists from earlier in the season. He doesn't assist anymore though. That's Philliskirk's job. He's on a 7.42 now. The big problem we've got with Sedwin Scott. Look how much better he is than everyone else at the club. The big problem though is that we can't get him to agree to a contract. He has all these demands so we've gone through contract negotiations with him twice now. The first time he added about 8 promises that he wanted, and I just said no, you're not having them. Kept turning them off, and he just ended up refusing. No, I've never had. I think maybe once before I've had a player refuse to discuss a contract because we couldn't even get the promises sorted. But he wanted things like 2 promotions, maybe not two promotions, but a promotion, a big pay rise, new staff, new players in several positions. It was ridiculous. He's got the agent has an unfriendly relationship with me. I've just noticed. Not Sedwin himself. He loves me. So that was the first time it broke down. And then we left it until he let us negotiate again. And then the second time I just agreed to everything and thought, you know what? You're now scoring every single game. We've got to have a chat about money. And we did. And he wants like $4,000 a week. And we can't afford to pay him. It was non-negotiable, $4,000 a week. It came from the promises. So he wants a salary that we can't pay him and we're not able to negotiate on it. He's out of contract at the end of the season. Unless it's exactly the same situation we had with Linus last year. Unless we get promoted, I think we lose him. And look at that. I just don't want to lose him. He makes me so happy. So this is the team that we're playing today against Lincoln. And we've got Ted Can in goal. We signed him in the last episode, or the one before maybe. And I talked about how he was pretty much similar standard to Guthrie and Linus, who were here already, but with the potential to get better. We played him in the last game because Guthrie took a little bit of a knock and he was good. So I might just keep him in. I'm going to keep him in today. Unless he makes a big mistake, there's no reason to bin him off. It does mean Linus is now not even on the bench. He hadn't been really since Can signed. And is wanted by all these league clubs. It's bizarre. He's 30 years old. Has been playing in the National League North for 4 years, gets promoted, gets dropped off the bench, and now all of a sudden, League One clubs want him. Presumably as a backup. I guess goalkeepers might work a little bit differently with that kind of thing. So anyway, this is our team for today. We've got Can in goal, a back 4 of Anderson, Aziakonu. I still don't know how to say his name properly, but Lionel Stone's had lots of little niggling injuries this year. He's still not fit now. Aziakonu has played a lot of games, and he's all right. Him and Laskowski are forming a decent partnership. Laskowski's there today, with Birch at right back, a midfield of Howells, Cowans, Elliott and Hartley, and then up front, the new look strike partnership of Scott as a target man on attack with Philliskirk deep lying forward on support. Like I said last episode, in all my years playing Football Manager, I don't ever remember getting a deep lying forward working before. Danny Philliskirk works. He could play deep lying forward on attack with Scott on support if we needed to, but this way round is creating so many chances. Scott is scoring so many goals. We'd be mad to change things up, and I need ideas about how we get him how do we convince him to sign a new contract? We just need him to. And part of me thinks, Kev, if you hadn't have signed that centre back who's never even going to get on your bench on $2,500 a week, you could have given that $2,500 a week to Scott. Don't you think I know that? Please, nobody tell me that today. Oh, we're over our wage budget because I signed him and 2 strikers we didn't need, and now I can't keep the striker we do need because of it. I am well aware of that. I just hope that my relationship with Scott doesn't break down to such a point where in the summer, once we've been able to release a few players, he won't even discuss terms, because I don't know, at what point can clubs start whipping him away? Does he stay sort of exclusive to us until the 30th of June? And because if so, we'll release a load of players then, and we could potentially offer him a contract right at the last minute and convince him to stay. I know it's leaving it very late, but it's better than nothing. Because the alternative is he just goes. Lincoln are top of the league, by the way. I know it's taken me 5 minutes to mention that to you, but we are supposed to lose today. We'll win the other one, but this is the one we're supposed to lose. We are still hovering in that playoff spot, though. Lincoln are only 10 points ahead of us, and that's with them beating us at the moment. If we were to come back in and beat them, we actually open up automatic promotion for everybody as something to aim for, which is completely outside the realms of what we should be looking for this season. I'm still, regardless of whether we get in the playoffs or not, it's not a bottle job, because all we had to do was avoid relegation. We've avoided relegation now. Anything else is a bonus. If we get a little taste of the playoffs this year, that'd be magic. If we have a ridiculous second half and find ourselves in an automatic promotion hunt, that'd be double magic with bells on. But really, I don't mind if we lose every game for the rest of the season now. I'd take losing every game between now and the end of the season if it made Scott sign a contract extension. I don't think that is something that's likely to convince him to stay. But my main motivation for wanting promotion at this point isn't because I think it's our time for promotion. It's because I just want to be able to give Cedrin Scott a new contract. Because you don't often get a player who's as complete as he is as a striker. But he's quick, he's a good finisher, he's good in the air. Oh, he's a wonderful man. Right, is there anything we can do? He's having a terrible game, by the way. I'm talking about him as if he's the hero of the universe, and he's having an awful game. And his scoring every game record is going to go. It's not going to go. He's in again. What's this? 8 games in a row now for Scott. And not only is it 8 games in a row, it's 8 games in a row in which he's scored about 14 goals. The man is just the most informed striker in the country. How we haven't had teams from bigger divisions just take him from us. He's got a £70,000 minimum fee release clause. Every club in the Football League should be thinking, you know what, for 70 grand, we'll have a little look. It would be silly not to. Right, substitution o'clock. Phyllis Kirk is not playing well today. Livesey Mason is going to be quite disappointed at the fact that he was the man before. We are going to swap Scott back down to being on support, just because Mason, let's not forget, Mason was scoring for fun earlier in the season before I just decided to sign extra strikers when we didn't need them. So we know this combination works. He just doesn't get as many goals out of Scott, but he's got his goal for today now. Shall we bring on Lionel as well for a little bit of experience, a steady head at the back? And you know what? We'll do all 3 in one go. We'll bring on Smith to offer us a bit more of an attacking option down that left wing, and we are going to go for it. In fact, I want to put us on an attacking instruction. We're going for it, everybody. We're going to try and get this equaliser. Should we even go on overload? It's 10 minutes on overload too long? We're going to do 10 minutes of overload regardless, and we'll see what happens. And hopefully there's an equaliser in it for us and we don't leave ourselves too exposed at the back. That's why we brought on Lionel Stone, because he's Mr. Experience. Was that him or was that Laskowski? Scott is in again. He's round the keeper. That blooming man. Drop back to counter-attacking quickly. A draw would be an amazing result in this game. But he is just the calmest finisher. I mean, this is a non-league player. Non-league players don't have that kind of composure, along with all the other attributes he's got. The man is a machine. I've never known anything like it. It is absolutely mad. Please, we need to... I'm getting flashbacks to Dale Southwell from all those years ago. I need to give him a new contract. Oh, and they've scored again. Overload again. Get him his hat-trick. But we've got to find a way to give Scott a new deal. We can't lose a player who's just turned into a superhero. We can't just have one season of him in our lives. We need him to be a fixture. That was a nice finish. Was Can at fault for that? Probably. I don't think he was. Would Guthrie have saved it? Don't know. Maybe. Right, here you go. Here's the equaliser. Here's Scott's hat-trick. He's going to do it from there because he can. Hartley, over to Smith. And Smith's not really very good. None of our wingers are great, really. I think it is a weakness in the team. Perhaps we should stop playing with wingers. How have I never thought of this before? Is it going to be an equal? I mean, 3-2 away from them. We've taken Lincoln to the brink here, and they're top of the table. So I don't think it's a disastrous result for a team that was supposed to be relegated this year. But did you see the clear-cut chances thing? I didn't even notice it during the game. I was so giddy. They had 5, we had none. We were absolutely thumped on the stats. We were lucky because we've got a superstar striker who just scores goals when he shouldn't. And he almost got us out of trouble again, but just not this time. Right, who are we playing next? Whitehawk. We are going to beat them. Just the one change for the Whitehawk game. Then Stone comes into the defence with the other fella, Aziakonu. I still have to read his name every time. I'm never going to learn to say that one properly. He drops out of the team altogether because who needs a centre back on the bench? Not my assistant manager, who still picks the substitutes. I know. But, you know, let's win this football match. The other tweak we've made is we're on a control mentality. I think I remembered to tweak it. I did remember to tweak it. We're on a control mentality for the first time in ages. For a lot of the good run we've been on, we've started games on counter-attacking and then adjusted as we've gone. But my assistant manager suggested control, and I thought, you know what? Oh, no. We'll come back to that in a minute. You know what, Mr. Assistant Manager? I think you've got a good point. Whitehawk, if we have a look at the league table, they're not very good. We should be able to beat them. Let's control this match from the start, try and score a couple of goals, and then maybe end the game on counter-attacking. Switch things around a little bit. You know, like we did when we got promoted. But all it seems to have done is caused Scott to pick up an injury. And I mean, imagine if it was a proper injury. It could be disastrous. If he got properly injured, that would be it for our promotion push. He wouldn't play again. He'd just leave on a free. He'd go to a Football League club, or probably because of the way Football Manager works, he'll end up retiring because he's set his sights on $4,000 a week now. No one's going to pay him that in non-league, and he just won't get another club. That's how crazy it'll be. He'll retire age 25. Oh, Hals is in. That's a lovely finish, a lovely goal. Another assist for Danny Philliskirk. Was that a cross from Scott initially? Nodded down by Philliskirk. Tucked in by Hals. We've got total football going on with our front four here because Scott, our target man, drifts out onto the wing, crosses into our deep line forward to nod down for our on-rushing winger. I mean, that's just a thing of beauty we've seen there. We'll leave it on control until half-time and then we'll drop down to standard maybe and just try and ease ourselves towards the end of the game. I would like another goal. I'm thinking as well, in terms of what we do about Scott, do we take him off? What sort of injury is it? Knee injury. We're going to give him 15 minutes to try and grab his goal because I want him to get his consecutive matches scored in thing. I don't know if it's a record that Football Manager even tracks, but I like the fact that he's scoring in every game he plays at the moment. But at the same time, I don't really want to break him. We've got Mason on the bench who can come on, and we've not even tried him playing with Philliskirk yet. Scott's played every minute. He sort of ducked down and held his... I could be imagining it. It looked like he clutched at his knee a little bit there. I must be imagining it. The match engine surely doesn't do that. There is Scott. There's his goal. Get him off immediately. He's got his goal. Mason can come on. Mason can come on. Mason can come on. He'll play as a poacher. And there we go. We don't have to risk Scott any more than is necessary. The man is ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. There you go. Sensational piece of play from Hartley as well. Let's have a look at this on the replay. It's a lovely header from Scott. I think it was a header. Hartley, cross, and bang. Sedwin Scott, 27 for the season now, I think, for the man that we spent most of the first half of the season moaning that, he just creates. He doesn't ever score any goals. But if that's not a bad injury, if he's going to stay fit, he'll score over 30 goals this year. Has Askowski just scored, or did someone else turn that in? I don't really know what happened there. I do need a replay for this one. It seemed like it was a very looping header that I don't know how it wasn't defended. So it's down to Laskowski. Oh no, it was Mason with the weird header. Laskowski then deflects it into the back of the net. And at 3-0 up, we're feeling a lot more comfortable. I think we can probably switch down to counter-attacking now and just soak up pressure for the rest of the game. We don't need to Oh, I've changed. I feel dirty saying even trying to say a sentence like that. But you know, we've got a dynasty to build here at Nuneaton. We're not going to end up Champions League winners in my lifetime if we don't start making tactical decisions like that. Let's have a save, and 'tis not to be. Do I panic? No, panicking's for losers. Let's pretend that didn't happen. If you don't watch the replay, it didn't happen, so you don't have to worry about it. Don't have to respond to it then. Right, Anderson is going to come off because he's not having the best of games. I quite like Abrazazi I like this whole really defensive defence thing, but Anderson can't do it. And despite him being one of our better players, I mean, he's supposedly so much better than Abrazazi, he can't play in the system we play now when we go counter-attacking, and he just struggles. So the guy who's apparently not as good has played more recently. Again, stuff like that, that's not the kind of decisions I make. I feel dirty. Let's bring Tom Elliott off as well. Did I make that change? Or did I? No, I thought I'd click cancel for a second there. Luckily, I did not. Right, let's. We're up to 6th in the league. There is a little bit of a gap above us, but playoff finish is a playoff finish. We've got 8 games left after this one. I'm going to have to decide how much of the running to show because I don't really need to drag it out. I think what we'll probably do is tomorrow we'll just go straight into the final 2 or 3 games of the season, depending on how close things look. Obviously, if we lose 3 games in a row now, we'll just do the last 2 because we're not going to get into it. But if it looks possible, did we? Oh, I thought we'd won a penalty, but it was Phyllis Kirk fouling. 3-1 win, and let's have a look at the fixtures before deciding what we're going to do. Assuming that a promotion push is genuinely on, which it looks like it might be, we'll probably come back for the final 3. Because there's not really a good point to stop partway through. We'll finish the season tomorrow, apart from the playoffs, which hopefully we'll be in and we'll do. It'll all be good. If you've enjoyed that, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos. And thank you very much for watching.